Well, it's really early in the morning, somewhere around about 6, and that's the GSK building, GlaxoSmithKline, Brentford, huge premises. And we've been here for a couple of nights now. I'm going to move on today. Got plenty of jobs done yesterday, which always makes you feel better, doesn't it, when you get some jobs on your list ticked off. But yeah, time to move on. There's a series of locks up ahead, something like 10. I'm looking forward to getting some exercise.
There he is, proudly polishing his newly positioned panels. It's only taken us 2 months to get them back on. Not quite right, because the bolts we bought were a little bit too long on the end, but that can be sorted. So we wrote a job list last night, didn't we, Rich?
Taking a leaf out of Robbie Cummings' book.
So I wrote a list of all our jobs to do, and we just figured we'd fit in whatever ones we can on a day when we've got a little bit of time. So I have promised that I would wash the roof of the boat today, but it's very, very cold out, and it's very slippery on there at the moment. So
we've nicely positioned the solar panels, but there's no sun shining.
We are
surrounded
under trees, and there it looks like there's a sunny spot further around the canal, but don't think there's any spaces up there at the moment. Now we're back on the Grand Union in London. It's a bit tight for mooring spaces, so I guess we'll just make do with what power we've got today. And now I'm going to go and find an inside job to do for half an hour.
Yeah, put the kettle on.
Yeah, that sounds like a good one.
Well, we're really chuffed with these brackets. We got them on eBay and got the bloke down from 50 quid to 40 quid. And we haven't screwed them down because I didn't want to drill holes in the roof until we're in a dry dock and we're painting up and doing. So we used self-adhesive sticky pads, and they are really strong. Really chuffed with them. So all I've got to do now is just saw through these bolts, because I couldn't get any shorter ones than those at the time. So yeah, here we go.
Archie, come here.
It's Saturday morning. What are you eating, Fran? Donut. It's just about morning. It's 20 to 12. Are we going to do the 10 locks today, are we? Or are we just going to see how we feel? If we do 2 and then we progress to the next set of locks, we've got to do them all because they're close together. So 10 locks today. Want to be moored up or to watch the rugby. We'll go and find somewhere to watch the rugby today. But we've had a busy morning, been answering questions on YouTube, keep them coming, and been for a walk with the dogs, had a nice bit of breakfast, and now we're off into London proper. Hopefully we'll be somewhere near the Paddington Arm today. And here we go, here's the first lock. We could have walked this. Oh, it's a heavy one. Are you struggling? We're still on river actually, because we're not completely on canal yet, because this is the River Brent, and until we get to the flight of locks that we're doing today doesn't become the canal proper. But it feels like a canal, it looks like a canal. We can see both banks at the same time and we're in our comfort zone again. We love it. Oh, we're going underneath the M4 motorway. That stretches from London all the way across the West Country round to Swansea. And it's a haven for the imaginative and not so imaginative spray painters or graffiti artists. Some of them are quite cool, but a lot of them have just put their tags, what they call is just a, is it a 3 or 4 letter tag they put up? I don't know.
4 letter.
4 letter, yes. Fran's a bit more streetwise than me.
Got to get down with the kids in it.
She's a cockney. Anyway, those poor sods up the top there, heading into London. I know where I'd rather be any day of the week. These locks, interesting so much that they have 4 paddles, 2 ground paddles and 2 gate paddles, so the locks are filling up really quickly. Going through this here now, it looks like the water levels are pretty low, but maybe it's just this pound between this lock and the next lock, so we shall see. You do, Fran?
Well, I always start everything with well, don't I? The fire's not been burning as well as it was. It's not been drawing. So we've got a back boiler in this fire. We decided we ought to clean the chimney. We've not done it since we've been on the boat, but the fire was brand new when we bought the boat, so it should have been okay. We've not used it that much. But decided to clean the chimney. But it doesn't appear that any access has been made to this fire to get the rubbish out of the chimney as it falls down. There should be an access plate or something somewhere.
There's what they call a baffle plate down there. So any ash coming down here that we scrape lands at the back of that and is inaccessible other than a 2-inch gap at the top that you can just about get your hands around.
So after deliberating this for a few weeks and trying to work out how we can get into it, I phoned Morso today, and they have said that if whoever fitted it didn't fit access to this, there's no way we can clean all the rubbish that comes down this chimney. We're just going to have to get fingers in over the top of this little gap here and scoop it out. And as I haven't got delicate little hands by any means, but as mine are a little bit smaller than Rich's, I'll get this job. However, he can clean the chimney out first.
Yeah, I'm going on the roof now with the brush. I don't think the brush is going to be abrasive enough because it's quite tarry inside that chimney, so we'll have to come up with a scraping device at some point, but not today, eh?
It's not a job we relished for today, but it is on our list of things to do, so it will be good to get it done. That's what I'm doing.
I've been here for a couple of days. Really nice mooring on the edge of a park, and every night in the dark some poor wretch comes to his home underneath the bridge here, and you see him get up and get out about 7 o'clock in the morning. He comes back when it's dark. So he's obviously got somewhere to go, something to do in that time. Maybe he's working for some unscrupulous employer, who knows. And it's so sad. It's broken Britain. And the boat across the canal from us is a 1970s Shropshire Union Cruisers. I think I mentioned this before when we saw one months ago, but that was the first boat we ever went on holiday with on the canal system in about 1971. It used to have a sliding roof, and there used to be painted blue hulls and white fiberglass roofs. But there's a couple on there, you see them coming and going, they're doing it up by the looks of it. So yeah, really interesting and a blast from the past. Come for a lovely morning walk in the local nature reserve next to the canal, called Willow Nature Reserve with fridge. Wormwood Scrubs Park.
Doesn't sound very salubrious, I know.
And Her Majesty's Prison is just over there. I think it's still a prison.
I guess so. It's straight, yeah, the old Victorian building.
And Wormwood named after what, Fran?
Artemisia. I don't know why. I guess the plant used to grow here. It was used as a herb. It's also a bit of a poison.
It's what they put in absinthe.
Yes, I think it is. It's one of the wormwoods they put in absinthe.
So we're back on the canal. We've got off the Thames, and I'm really pleased to be back on the canal system. To be honest, I really like the canals better than the rivers. But not to say we didn't have a good time on the Thames. It was really good fun.
Just feel more comfortable, don't you? You just feel. I don't know. It just feels calmer and more comfortable being on a canal, drawing up easily, and yeah. Noisy dog.
Archie doesn't like being tethered. If we let him loose, he'd be gone in the woods and we'd never get him back. So yeah, back on the canals, really enjoying it. Heading into London now. We're in Ladbroke Grove, which is West London, just on the edge of Notting Hill.
It's been a bit of a culture shock, hasn't it? The first place we've been mooring up really well, actually. It's not been a problem, but the first place we moored at, went for a little walk up into the town. There's some fantastic little Indian food shops right there, and yeah, there's good sides of being in built-up areas as well, isn't there? But very busy. There's been so much firework noise going on until midnight.
Well, we had bonfire night, didn't we? Which was 5th of November. When was that?
Monday.
Monday, was it? And then there was Diwali, which is the Indian Light Festival, is it?
Yeah, Festival.
Yeah, Festival of Light. And they teach us a few things about letting off fireworks, which they started as soon as it got dark. And they must have carried on till at least 2 in the morning,
Yeah,
wasn't it? It was just
continual.
non-stop, boom, 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 boom. It was amazing.
But everywhere that we've been so far, we've managed to find really nice parks and
Yeah,
still
to
really
walk
nice
around.
walks. I don't, you know, as I say, Wormwood Scrubs doesn't sound very nice, but it's a huge park area. Yesterday we walked up, I can't remember which hill.
No.
Fantastic views all across London.
Yeah.
So we're still enjoying our walks. I did a really good mooring last night, didn't I?
Oh, here we go. I've already talked about it.
Yes.
So, Fran, on a scale of 1 to 10, how chuffed are you with your parking abilities here?
11.
11.
Cranked it up to 11. I thought I did really well. Number one, finding a spot after we've passed loads and loads of residential boats and no mooring. And I think I've got, what, 3 feet either end of the boat, and I did it first time. Well chuffed.
Well
6
done.
months ago, I wouldn't have gone into a space 3 times as
Yeah, lovely little spot there. Look at this.
buildings. Let's just look at that.
Beautiful, aren't they? So, being in London does have its issues, and our rubbish warrior
Correspondent.
princess here has been on it.
It's as we said on the filming, it's really shocked me, the amount of rubbish. At risk of being really boring, just look at this rubbish. I've got our well deck full of recycling at the moment and some rubbish. We haven't found anywhere any rubbish points, let alone recycling points. I've actually sent a message through to CRT this morning, and a very nice lady called Rachel spoke to me, or sent me a message back to say she was going to get the local team to tell me where our nearest recycling station was.
Can't imagine having a picnic there. We've just passed a team of volunteers from a company. They're a sales team of a company, and they get special dispensation a couple of times a year to go out and do voluntary work. And the company make a contribution to Canal and River Trust, which is great. So they're getting all these volunteers coming out to help, and a monetary contribution. Great team of volunteers cleaning up the canal side here at Ladbroke Grove.
Well, you say that. I mean, first
Wonderful.
one, there was loads of black bags.
Fran's giving him an ear bending about the lack of rubbish resources on the canal side.
Like we're getting into London proper now. Not quite the canal side architecture we're looking for. We had a lovely walk this morning, didn't we, up a lovely hill.
Yes, we did.
Jess is enjoying the scenery. We're going really, really slowly. There's so many leaves, as well as other stuff in the canal, but it seems like the prop is blocked. So another job to add to our list. keep popping it into reverse and it clears it for a little bit, but there's just so many leaves in the canal. I think that's what it's going to be like for a bit.
One of these surprising, well, maybe it's not surprising these days, is the amount of more or less floating sheds that people are banging bits of wood to and hanging tarpaulin over just to call it their home. Such is the state of the housing crisis in London, I think, that people are just clutching at living on anything they can just to have a roof over their head. And we're in Ladbroke Grove and we took a walk last night, didn't we? And stuck our nose in an estate agent's window. And a 3-bed terraced house that would have been built at the turn of the last century, sort of 1890, 1900, going for £1.2 million and upwards.
It's the same house that would have been my first house as an adult, and I think we paid 17,000 for it, and same house now.
Same style house.
Yeah.
Yours would be in East End of London, and this
Yeah.
is the West End of London. And it's just because it's on the edge of Notting Hill, you know, it's ridiculous. But the gap nowadays between those that have and those that have not is just massive.
And so many people are living on the canals now and struggling to make a boat into a home or a raft into a home. The increase in boats on the canal network in London, I can't remember the figures, but in the last sort of 5 years it's gone up absolutely astronomically, and I just don't know where it's going to end, whether they're going to have to limit people that have a special licence for London or what they're going to do, because it can't carry on as it is. There just won't be any room left in London, and there's nowhere else for people to live. You know, they're doing the best they can, aren't they? So it's very difficult.
I think we're pretty desperate for water. I haven't filled up in a couple of weeks, I don't think. So it's going to be sucking on air soon if we don't fill up. Lifted the lid up on the water tank. And look how empty it is. No wonder the back end is low. And yeah, it looks like we've got to get in there soon enough and scrape all the crud out and reline it. Nice. I hasten to add that we don't drink the water out of the tank. It's purely for showering in and washing up. We fill bottles up to drink from. But yeah, that looks pretty yuck. Towpath here is really busy, so we can't let the dogs just run up and down when we get off the boat. We have to get them off with a lead on, as the cyclists whizzing by. Have I said this already?
No.
No. The cyclists going by at a fair old rate, but
I think that's what it's going to be like for the next week,
fine.
really.
Canal's there for everyone.
But life on boat is still good, isn't it? We've
It's
had
fantastic.
a few adjustments to winter. We've had a few electrical problems, we think. But it may just be the lack of daylight hours and the amount that we're using electricity, because we've got alarms going off a few nights when the batteries are getting low and the inverter's working overtime. So we've had to adjust a little bit to that. Just being much more aware of what we're using, because it's obviously not free and easy as it is in the summer. And also regarding the heating or the hot water, whether we've got a little bit of a problem with our calorifier and our pump. We think there might be, because the pump has been intermittently coming on. We've checked and we've got no leaks that we're aware of. We've gone right through, we can't find a leak. There's a bit of a thumping noise coming from under the bed, which is the calorifier, and suddenly the hot water's really not staying warm. By the next morning it's only just warm, isn't it?
Yeah.
So again, we're not sure whether it's just that it's colder.
So if we want to shower, a hot shower, then we have to do it when the boat stops. Have one there and then.
You have to make compromises, don't you? You can't live on a boat as you do in home. Not on a boat like ours, unless you're going to run generators and stuff. But that's fine, as you say. We stop from cruising and shower. At least we know we're clean then. And sometimes we're having to boil water for washing up and stuff. But just adjusting, it's different, isn't it? The
amount of time we're spending inside the boat now has increased as well, hasn't it? Because it's dark at 4:30 ish,
yeah.
And so we're using more. The amount of things that we have to charge up, phones, iPads, computers, lamps, torches. The list is endless. There must be 30, 40 different things on board that are cameras, equipment that we have to charge up. So you have to be really mindful that we're charging things up as we're going along.
And a couple of nights we've been down to candles and a couple of sets of battery twinkly lights, haven't we? But it's
nice.
lovely, it's really cosy.
Yeah. Here we are, moored up in the hustle and bustle of Ladbroke Grove. People going to work, about their daily business. Really busy, really noisy. People in offices doing stuff. If you walk down here, just turn left at these railings here and get down onto the canal. And you lose the noise. And already the noise has halved and we're just a few feet below street level. Watch out for cyclists because they're pretty lethal around here. Just look at this. Absolutely stunning. You wouldn't think you were in the middle of London. Well, I guess you would, judging by the buildings, but I mean the noise levels have just decreased incredibly. It's always the same on the canals. You just get down to canal level and it's so tranquil and peaceful. Amazing. So anyway, sorry, but this one's been a bit grimy and a bit negative in places, but we're telling it as it is.
Anyway, we'll let you know what happens in our travels through London next week.
Yeah, so keep subscribing, thumbs up. Take a look at our Facebook site, it's all down below in the comments. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and catch you next time.
Yep. Bye.
So this stretch of canal that the Paddington Arm is really unremarkable. It's factory after factory, rundown building after rundown building, and frankly it's quite depressing. But we're looking forward to better things as we get closer into London.